World of Tanks battlefield is relentless and unforgiving. It takes each commander a strong grasp of tactics to survive. Tactics like tracking enemies so that teammates can finish them off. Focusing your fire. And group rushing. In World of Tanks, it's always tactics that win the battles. I'm Mobius Y, just another tanker like you, and I'm here to help. This is the Tactics Talk. What's up, everyone? We're back here. It's Mobius Y once again here with another Tactics Talk. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different because I'm not going to be discussing some things that strictly can be applied within World of Tanks while you're playing. It's something that is done outside of World of Tanks, and honestly, I feel it's more important than just about anything else. Before you learn how to coordinate with your platoon, but before you learn how to side scrape, before you learn, which tank lines you want to go down, you want to do this. It is so simple, so few people do it, and so many people can become, you can just become a better player if you simply do your fucking research. Now, I swear to God, it sounds so simple, and few enough people do it. Just by going and investigating tanks, doing your research, examining specific things about tanks, their strengths, their weaknesses, so on and so forth, about tanks you play, tanks you face, tanks you plan to have, tanks you expect to come across, so on and so forth. You can become more effective just by doing that. It's mind-boggling. And it's actually quite easy to do. There's a lot of effective ways to research your tanks. There are so many tools available for you to look up information about tanks, such as, reload times, rate of fire speeds, what's their alpha damage, what's their penetration, so on and so forth, their armor values, blah, blah, blah. Honestly, a lot of basic generalized statistics are available in-game. You can simply open up the tank tree for whatever nation and browse every tank available, and you can open it up, every tank, and look at its packages, and you can view the information on those packages, and it'll tell you things like the engine, the horsepower on the engine, the power, the penetration value of the different rounds being used, the traverse speed of the treads, the traverse speed of the turret, so on and so forth, as well as a couple other general things such as the thickness of the strongest piece of armor on the front of the hull or the turret, There are some specific things that are not displayed in game. Excuse me. Things such as where are the specific weak points. This is about the only downside to just looking up stuff in game is you are not given intimate details, such as, oh, this tank has it basically just says this tank has 110 millimeters of thickness on the upper front plate. Well, that doesn't sound very thick at, say, tier 7, but what it won't say is it's actually sloped at a 60-degree angle, which makes it effectively 220 millimeters thick of an upper plate. I'm not using any specific tank as an example there. I'm just generalizing. That's stuff that the game, looking at the packages and the tech tree in the game cannot tell you. Now, that's not the only place you can go in. If you don't have access to your Xbox, you can also look up the Tankpedia on the World of Tanks Xbox 360 website. It's got information in a brief bio, I suppose you could say, of every tank available in the tech tree for every nation as well, and it basically shows you the exact same stuff as what you will see when looking at the tech tree in the game. You know, rate of fire, view range, the types of guns that are used, so on and so forth. The only difference with looking on the Tankpedia is you can't specifically identify which packages are available for that tank. Nevertheless, the Tankpedia is still an effective tool at your disposal to use in order to investigate what certain tanks are, what certain tanks have. You know, if you want to learn just general basic stuff such as how heavy this tank is, how many hit points it has, so on and so forth, how quickly can it turn, things like that. So, you know, just looking for generic information to kind of get a feel for a couple things. Either looking in the game or looking at the Tankpedia, World of Tanks Xbox 360 Edition.com. You simply go to the home page. From putting in the address, you go to Game Info. That'll bring up a nice little page with About, Game Guides, FAQ, Tankpedia, Awards, and Game Events. Right there, you go to Tankpedia, and it brings up the giant list of tanks available in the game. Breaks them down by nation, breaks them down by tank class, and it has everything in there. Very, very handy tools at your disposal. Strongly urge that they are used. Now, if you want to go a little more in depth, such as, you know, discussing certain tanks, or even asking questions about your certain tanks, or, you know, how you can play them, on the same website, World of Tanks Xbox 360 Edition.com, from the home page, you can click right on the Forums button, and it'll take you right to the World of Tanks Xbox 360 Edition official forums. From there, you can go into general discussion, or vehicle discussion, what have you. A lot of the posts that go on are in general discussion. You know, you can go there and start a new thread or whatever for asking any question that can come to your mind, even ones that have popped up 1,000 times before. You know, what equipment should I put on my E75? Is the M48 Patton a good tank? Whatever. There's plenty of nice people on those forums willing to help you out. You know, help suggest equipment for your tank, help you get a feel for how you should play your tank, and, you know, what tanks to avoid, what to do, what not to do, so on and so forth. And even a good discussion on certain tactics. You know, given a certain situation, what should I do? Do I do this? Do I do that? Or is there an option C that I didn't see, that I didn't think of previously? You know, so on and so forth. You can literally talk about anything on those forums. There's lots of helpful, knowledgeable people on those forums, and there's plenty that are going to be more than willing to help you, so long as you don't go on there and start acting like a dick. That's about the only catch. There's the times where most of the forum members have been unhelpful is when somebody goes in there and makes a post basically saying the spotting system is broken, Wargaming, fix your shit. You know, that's very unproductive and unhelpful, and you're not going to get any good responses, you know. just to forewarn you, you know. Instead, you could simply ask, how does the spotting system specifically work? You know, exactly, can somebody try and explain it to me? And then somebody can either give you a link to another site, or a link to another post that a developer or an administrator has made, or a link that a forum member has made, or somebody can just type up a description of it right there, you know, so on and so forth. Literally anything can be talked about on the forums, and there will be at least one person to give you a helpful, thoughtful response. So it's very, very powerful and effective tool at your fingertips, you know. So it's not just what's specifically on the World of Tanks Xbox 360 Edition website, the official website. There's also the World of Tanks Wiki, wiki.wargaming.net. That opens up. It basically takes you to the home page for Wargaming's wiki page, and you can look up specific pages for World of Tanks, World of Warplanes, World of Warships. There's actually a separate tab specifically for World of Tanks Xbox. It's currently in the works. It doesn't have all the information there that you would see if you simply looked at World of Tanks, the PC wiki. But everything you need to know is there. From, you know, tank reviews to breakdowns to how they operate to suggested equipment, so on and so forth, some historical info, everything that every piece of information that you can get on that tank is available on the World of Tanks wiki. Very, very useful to go there, check it out. If you know, the best thing I would say for the World of Tanks wiki, I'm thinking about going for another tank line. What do these tanks play like? You can go to the World of Tanks wiki. It's basically written up by, you know, hundreds, thousands of World of Tanks users that have played all these tanks before, you know, have a lot more experience than myself, yourself, whoever. It's basically just a community conglomeration of experiences and opinions that are thrown onto this little wiki section. Very helpful to go there and learn stuff, you know. Now, if you really want to upgrade, if you really want to up your knowledge, you know, you need to know something specific, like, oh, where are the specific weak point guides on, say, T110E4, or where can I shoot at a Tiger tank from the side to, you know, pen it and do some serious damage? Well, there's another website there for that, which actually shows specific armor values and modules displaying effective armor thicknesses on all tanks, and that is the World of Tanks Guru, WWTGuru.com. You go there, you go to the weak spot guides, you choose which nation you're trying to look up. It has all of them there, including the PC ones, and then from there you just choose which specific tank you're looking for. And it has everything you need right there. It has pictures from the fronts, you know, frontal pictures, side pictures, slightly angled pictures, and basically describes this plate is this thick at this angle, so its effective armor is this much. This is a weak point, or this is a strong point. Shoot here, do not shoot here, that kind of thing. Very, very handy and useful tool to use to your own benefit. There is so much stuff that you can look up there. You know, where the heck do I shoot an E3 from the front? Everybody knows the usual weak points. Commander cupolas, lower plates. Sometimes those just don't work all the time. So, you know, you just want that extra edge. There's gotta be, you know, you're just thinking, there's gotta be another weak point somewhere. Where can I shoot this guy next time I come across him? WorldofTanksGuru.com. Look that up. You can learn every in and out of every tank that you play and learn how to better protect the weak points on your tank, or you can learn the weaknesses of tanks you regularly face. Now, extending from that, not just learning effective armor values and thicknesses and so on and so forth, where you can actually pen and damage tanks, you can also look up where to pen and damage a tank's modules. This is extremely handy. And this is on the worldoftanksinfo.net. This is a very useful website. It has basically, it's similar to World of Tanks Guru, except instead of armor values, you're looking up where to shoot on a tank for vulnerable spots to damage modules and injure crew members. This can be a very, very effective and dangerous knowledge to store in the back of your mind. You can look up any tank you need. You know, where do I ammo rack a T110E5? You know, where do I shoot a Jumbo Sherman to knock out his gunner? So on and so forth. Where do I smack a light tank to take out his commander and reduce his effectiveness? Or where do I hit this fast medium tank like a Panzer IV? Where do I hit a Panzer IV to damage his engine? So on and so forth. It's a really, really useful thing to look up, because it literally has everything. It shows you vulnerable points for easy penetrations, where to damage fuel tanks, where to ammo rack tanks, where to damage engines and set them on fire, and where to shoot to knock out a driver or a gunner or a loader, which can really cripple the effectiveness of the enemy tank that you're facing. It's extremely useful and handy to look this up, and it has information on every tank available in the game. Now, such information can be looked up on your phones as well. There are apps such as World of Tanks Assistant, which I believe is a Wargaming specific, an app specifically made by Wargaming.
And there's also the knowledge base for World of Tanks, which is basically it's World of Tanks Guru and worldtanksinfo.net, where you can look up weak points on tanks, where to shoot them to do module or crew damage, so on and so forth, and you can have all that at your fingertips on your phone or your tablet, so on and so forth. It's really effective to use. Now, on top of all of that, both on WWTinfo.net and from the World of Tanks Xbox 360 homepage, you can look up your specific player stats and look up your service record. You can see your overall win percentage, your overall battles fought, you know, what medals you've unlocked. It'll give you a breakdown on which tank classes you play and give you percentages and comparisons on which tank classes you play the most, as well as countries, so on and so forth. You can even look at how well you're doing in a specific tank, you know, compare your win rates, compare your damage caused received, so on and so forth. Very effective. You can also look that up on WWTinfo.net, and if you have the extra little add-on, or if you're on the forums, you can even ask for somebody to show you your WN8, which is colloquially accepted as the most accurate means of displaying whether or not you are an effective tanker or not. So all of that is available to you at your fingertips, either on your computer or on your phone, and even spending half an hour outside of the game doing your own research, basically doing your homework, it can make you a much more effective player. It can give you an edge over most anybody in the game. You'll just feel more knowledgeable, and you'll have that at your fingertips, and you'll be able to exploit those known weaknesses that you're aware of on your enemy tanks, as well as be better able to compensate for them on the tanks that you play. And it doesn't have to be specifically just for high tiers. All this information is available on every tank, even at tiers 2, 3, 4. Every tank is there. You can just look it up and know whatever you need to know. You know, you can look up the information you need on the tanks that you face regularly because of the tier that you prefer to play at. And it's all there, it's all available, just a few keypad clicks away and a couple mouse clicks away, and it will make you a much better player overall, just doing your own research. I can't stress this enough, guys. Please, 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 please take my advice on this. Take it to heart and, you know, put it to good use. So that's all there is for this Tactics Talk. I apologize if it was a little more boring than the previous ones, but that's going to be how it is, unfortunately. So hope some of you guys took this to heart and are able to learn something, and that you're actually able to use some of these useful knowledge centers and applications and be able to use them to further enhance your gameplay. So that's it for this Tactics Talk. Mobius Y out. We'll see you next time.